Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Outside Line. It's edition number 25. Because Will wrote it in the top of the Skype call for us, and I'm going to mute my phone. We are not dead. We're still alive. It's just been very busy. We've all had very busy lives. And, basically that's it. So, as always, I'm Ben. Joined, as always, is Tate. And returning common guest is Jackson, down the bottom corner there. How you guys going? How you been?
I'm all right. I'm just hanging out with the figments of my imagination. I don't think anyone else is going to get that joke because we're just joking before that I've escaped from the child and told Naomi that I'm podcasting just to get away from the kid.
He's just yelling into the void.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going pretty good. How you going, Jack?
Yeah, pretty good. Same old, same old. Dealing with noisy children, yes. Mine can look after themselves now, though, unlike yours, Tate. It probably still needs a bit of attention.
You know.
I don't know.
Screaming doesn't hurt him too much.
No, I'm 35 and I still can't look after myself, so I don't think it ever actually ends.
Yes, true.
All right, so we've got a little bit to talk about. We don't have a fully planned schedule for this podcast because I was too busy changing nappies to actually put one together.
Takes the schedule back. That's what I mean. Like, I'm 35 and I don't know how to write a list of things to talk about on a podcast. Although, that being said, we've all had a lot happen since the last podcast. Like I said, our personal lives, we've done some moving, we've done some growing of the families, lots of shopping and changing with cars. If your last name's Snell, as well.
I mean, that comes with the territory. You can't have Snell without some chopping and changing of cars.
100%.
No, and also I think it's. Now, since the last podcast, Ryland's actually driving now too.
He is.
Because I don't think he was legitimately driving before that.
I don't think so. I don't remember when the last podcast was, but yeah, he's got his he's turned 14 now, so he's got his SSA license, his races, his whatever the license he needs these days. And yeah, he's driven a couple of events actually and bought a car as well. Well, bought another car, I should say. To build.
Starting young.
Yeah, so no, it's good. It's good actually, really good. He's driven a couple of people's cars now as well, actually. So,
he liked the V8. I'm guessing he'll be taking that over pretty soon.
Yeah, no, he won't take it over. But yeah, he drove that and his EB Falcon at Winterfest. So yeah, he jumped in one car, was doing laps on the skid pan, jumped back in his car, was doing laps, but. He did drift school, I think it was 2 weeks or something before that.
2 weeks beforehand, yeah.
Yeah, and then he actually broke his Falcon third lap out. But Ben Candy actually said, offered him his car to drive. So Ryland cut a heap of laps in Ben Candy's little, I think it's SR20, K70.
Yeah, SRK.
Yeah. So obviously a completely different car to a Falcon, let alone, power-wise and everything. But yeah, he cut some laps in that. So yeah, I can't thank Benny enough for letting him do that, and he didn't crash it, which was good for me.
Yeah, Ben's a good bloke. He loves seeing people out there, and I don't think he's too precious about his K70.
Yeah,
to not let people have a crack.
100%.
The car's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can really do much more to it.
No, that's right. So no, that was awesome. But yeah, like I said, he's did Winterfest, and I think he's going to probably do an X-Park trip in the next couple of weeks, and then do another drift school at Malala at the end of August. So yeah, just trying to get him to drive as much as I've done it for 14 years, I guess now, since pretty much he was born. So it's his time to drive, I guess. That's what he wants to do. So all my money can go to him doing it.
Yeah, no different than what my dad did when I was about that age, except it was on 2 wheels, not 4.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You end up giving up what you want to do because you prefer to see your young one do what they want to do.
That's right. That's exactly right. I've had my time. He likes doing it. He likes doing his YouTube videos and everything. So, yeah, keep at it, and I'll help him as much as I can. And yeah.
Alrighty then. Well, we'll probably get stuck into round 2. We had the OG layout, the big turn 1 layout. So, yeah, it was a pretty packed event. I think it was sold out. If not, it was bloody close to it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one major reason why that happened. Of course, we had Grant Anderson. There we go.
Anderson.
Grant Anderson. Yeah, Grant came over from the US of A, and of course that meant basically everyone wanted to drive with him. So the driver entries like sold out like really fast, and like it was some of the biggest crowd of spectators I've seen since basically COVID, I reckon. Like those first couple of years were pretty big in terms of like attendance, and it really kind of died down after COVID. But now, like that was probably the most packed I've seen the wall and the balcony and all that in a very long time. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, no, it was packed. I mean, L2's usually fairly chockers, but L1 numbers they usually have enough for a top 16. But I think in this case it was probably 29 drivers, which is great to see.
I think it was 30 in both groups was the cap.
Yeah. So, that was really good. We had a few people come across for it. We got the Cam Martins. We had Squiddy came down to hang out with his best mate.
Yeah, guess who comes crawling back?
Brother from another mother. We had quite a few drivers come for that event specifically. And it was another event where, bar a couple of issues with a gear selector, that invite car went pretty good the whole time.
Yeah, didn't you like have to Oki strap it into third?
Yeah, so it was Oki strapped into third. So what he'd do is he'd take off and he could overcome the Oki strap in the run up. But then once he started drifting, he just left it in third. And looking at the actual in-car from Grant, I think that's probably for the best because he was doing second in quite a lot of the tight stuff, and it was like just smashing limiter.
Yeah.
And I think it was better in the end in third, but it was still, if he got it a little wrong, the clutch wasn't super happy about it. So probably a bit of an in-between ratios for that layout. But yeah, the car held up well, seemed to do everything well, and you got to be pretty happy with that. It's 2 events now.
Yeah, it's 2 events more than most drifters' cars last. So
yeah, so I think he also made it into the top 8, which was cool to see because that means that car's made it into top 8 with both invite drivers. I think he had a ball out there with us. He was saying I did a battle with him. He was saying how good the level was. He couldn't believe how every driver he went up against was top notch, and I think he liked the format too. It was something a bit different. He was saying he got sick of the top 32 layouts because you only get a couple of battles if you're not going to make it all the way through.
Yeah, dude, it's always been a thing that Stewie strive for with these events is like almost at the disadvantage to people trying to watch and follow along is just saying like I want to get as much driving in for the drivers as possible, like maximize that track time. But yeah, when we're running splitting battles back to back to save time and the quality battles and stuff like that, like it's a lot of driving you get to do, but it is very, very fast paced. And that was another thing that we had to kind of deal with as well, because obviously having so many entries, we'd maybe gotten a little bit relaxed with how strict we were keeping to the schedules the last couple of years because the numbers weren't quite so hectic. But that was chaos trying to make sure we kept to the schedule because, it was hectic.
Yeah, you'd be lined up for a long time in that pre-grid, having a good old chat. There was a couple of them where I think I was one of the last battle groups out, and it felt like you sat on that pre-grid forever, building up those nerves before you had to go out there and actually drive.
Yeah, but then once you're out, it was like you didn't stop. Like you'd be doing a battle, and pretty much as soon as the drivers crossed the line, they were like sending the next cars on the run up. The judges had basically the time that the cars were on the run up to put their scores in, like for the next battle. So it was super hectic, but it was an awesome weekend. And of course, there were some winners and some losers. Of course, we'll go L1 first. And coming over from Tassie, he obviously drove round 4 and 5 last year, said I'm coming back doing the full season this year. And Matt Harvey showing that he was definitely not someone to be reckoned with and just smashed it all weekend. Drove really well. It was a Kumo Tyres final battle as well, with Matt Harvey and Dale Campaign battling it out. It was good to see Dale back out. He's had a couple of quiet years, just obviously with the baby and all that stuff, just making sure he doesn't overstretch himself. So it was good to see him come back out. Matty Harvey over, both in the final, absolutely killing it. And another big shout out as well goes to Tom Hemmings for sticking on the podium as well, grabbing himself third spot.
Yeah, it's great to see Tom up there. He was doing pretty well. I think he did round 4 last year. He was third.
Yeah, he always drives super hard, and he's one of those drivers that he doesn't usually lose a battle. He either loses himself, like he'll overdrive the car, or more often than not he breaks something, and that's what takes him out of the day. He doesn't lose by just doing a half-assed run.
Yeah, so he's obviously that S14. So I don't think he was here for round 1, but he was for round 2. And that S14, obviously, he's getting that a bit more under wraps and getting the reliability out of it, which is great to see.
Yeah.
All right, well, L2. I can't say I saw too much of L2, so I'm probably going to have to lean on you a bit for this one.
I can't even really, it was that long ago. Because we were really up to date on making sure we get these out as straight as the rounds are done. So I did watch it all, but there's lots has happened since then. But Will was kind enough to go back through the podium photos and give us the results. But the winner of L2 for round 2 was, of course, Nick McKernan, and he did win L1 as well. So he's won both rounds of L2 so far this season. And
win round 1.
Yeah, that one.
L1.
Yeah, sorry, round 1. No. He's run both rounds of L2, so round 1 and 2. And we've already been getting him little jabs in the ribs going, you're going to L1 next year, better get ready. But he's always been a super consistent driver, but he was like super consistently top 8s, maybe squeezing into the top 4 a couple of rounds. But this year he's just stepped it up a notch and he's really killing it. And also the guy who battled for the final was Patrick Meehan. Came all the way over from Victoria in the AU Falcon, which was good to see. Paddy's a gun of a driver. He does pretty well over in Keeper Reed as well. And then in third place, we had Brody Black. And he's like, if there was one person I was super stoked to see on the podium that weekend, it's Brody. Because, he's a little ball of energy, and he totally deserves to get himself up into the podium there. I don't know if you saw his car at Winterfest, Jack, but the whole left-hand side of the diff was held in by ratchet straps because it literally ripped the lower trailing arm mount out of the floor. And I'm pretty sure that's been like that for a while.
I'm not surprised. That car was also double entered for.
Marcus.
Marcus McCaffrey drove it in L1, and I think he made top 8 or just missed out on top 8.
I think he made it into top 8, and then he had to hand it over to Brody. But
Marcus, that's right, yeah.
Marcus was doing extra bits. He was drifting the bowl too, flat out, and then gave the car to Brody, and I'm pretty sure it had no tyre left on it because he drifted all extra parts of the track, and then Brody got in it. And I think they said they changed one tyre or something in between, but that car is pretty much the town bicycle.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's great to see Brody up in third place there because he's been gunning for a while and he's been driving, has been getting better and better. And sick to see it. Maybe that KE probably needs a little bit of maintenance now. Probably needs a little bit of love.
It's due for a birthday, I reckon.
You get that. Yeah. So, anything else we want to talk about for round 2 there?
I drove and I sucked. I crashed into everyone.
That's the normal. Where'd you crash? Last time you did the comp, you drove into Linden, wasn't it? And then this time it was Fogger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That layout. No. So then this time was Jacob.
Yeah.
With the LSS 14, and I don't know if he missed a gear or something happened, and Stewie asked me if he sort of held me up or whatever, and I said, I don't know, man. My car doesn't like slowing down.
Weighs like 1,700 and something kilos, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, and I was using those freaking Rodex tires, and they're junk. I don't care what anyone says, they're shit. And then Bogger, my second qualifying battle was with Bogger, and like bless him, but he's like, "Oh, I stayed in third gear to try and help you out," and normally he enters in fourth, so I was just expecting him to be going. So I was going, and then he's like, obviously entered a bit slower than he reckons he usually does. So I got a wheel on wheel with him and busted a wheel and ended up out in the dirt. So that sucked also. But I got enough points to go through the top 16. Then went against Dale campaign. And then my car shut off on entry and then just wouldn't rev and went into like limp mode. And then we thought it was my throttle body. Heaps of crap went on. Anyway, took it back to my tuner. Turns out the plug that goes to where my air conditioning condenser used to be was actually shorting out or earthing out my throttle body, my injectors, and whatever else runs on that loom. Oh. So that's why my car was no good. But it's fixed now. So
I forgot about my weekend. I just remembered. I've just forgotten and left the car up at my parents' place and just left it there. I ended up getting through the top 16 and going against Kale, and he said he was going for third and getting fifth quite a few times, and I knew with my points that I had no option other than to do an amazing full send like chase, and so I just ignored that part and got on the throttle, and I think he might have got fifth for a second before going back down to third, and went wheel to wheel with him and broke something in the front end. Broke a tie rod, I think. And that was the end of my weekend. So it was still fun. Still good. But I've left that car up the top and it's just in the naughty corner for a little while. Fix it for round 3.
Yeah.
All right. So we also had Winterfest. We already touched on that in regards to your time with Rylan. I get that name right?
Yeah.
Yep. I question myself. I hate names. I hate names. I'll be like, say a name and be like, oh, I don't think I said
That's
that.
why everyone's buddy or pal or guy. Chief.
Yeah.
The young fella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a young fella girl, mate.
Yeah.
I had that the other day in the chemist. There was a guy that recognised me, I think from motocross days. I couldn't place him.
Hey, you!
And I had to have that conversation. And luckily, I had Harvey with me, so that was all the talking points. But I can't place you. My brain is not there at the moment. Anyway, so we already touched on it. A little bit of a tangent. Winterfest, 2 days. It sold out like bloody quickly.
Yeah.
Considering SA used to be the state where
everyone would enter like
all your entries in.
SA was the state where Mallala kept cancelling events because no one was pre-entering 2 weeks before. And they're like, "Why'd you close it down? I was going to enter on the day."
Yeah.
And now we got Winterfest, which I think it was 150 drivers over 2 days, and the president of Drifting SA. Like 2-3 days after the event launched, had to go on the wait list. wait for a Sunday only to come free so I could actually get out there. So, it sold out real quick and there's no special treatment. But it was great to see that many people keen to go out there and have a thrash and not need a comp.
Yeah, it's good. Freestyle drift is still alive, which is really good to see. And party drift. And like... I was only up on the Saturday and it was very wet and it looked like a party. There was a lot of action going on and you couldn't really tell who was who because it was like basically like when you see like the Tough Mudder and the people come across the line and they're just brown from top to bottom. That was every drift car at the track on the Saturday except Jamie Godfrey, who I watched wash his car 4 times because he'd do a session and come in and just pull up and get the hose and just hose his car off.
Matty Bennett's was the same.
Well, Matty Bennett's didn't have much of a car left by the end of the weekend. He had some floating tail lights, so he didn't have a lot to clean.
I'm going to say if someone won Winterfest, it was Matty Bennett's.
Yeah.
The number of times on Sunday that I had people coming up to me that, haven't been around drift a lot, and they're just like, who is that blue car? he's doing amazing. I'm like, every time it's Matty. Yeah, I know he's got floating tail lights. Yeah, that's him. Because he was baking the whole track. I don't know how many tyres he went through. But it felt like every time he did a lap, he was like legitimately blinding everyone behind him. And he actually did blind me quite a few times. So, that was pretty great to see that many drivers out there having a good time. I think Landon came back and he took out, was a big entry comp on the Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know with how much lock that Sora has.
I saw one of the videos. He was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
He was doing pretty bloody good considering, that Sora is...
It's got like... It's
disabled.
Yeah. Very disabled. Suits him well.
He was having a blast. So on Sunday, he was getting around and doing heaps of pro rides and having a blast. So it was good to see him back out on deck. Anything to add?
That was it. Basically, I went to Winterfest because I had to give Landon money because he cleaned my gutters because that's what he does. He gets on roofs and cleans things.
No, I'll add in. I'll give a shout out to the volunteers and that helped, especially like Tim and his old boy on the skid pan because like it was windy and cold all day on Saturday. We were only there for Saturday driving, but they stood out there all day. So yeah, shout out to the volleys. They probably don't get enough love.
Yeah, it can be hell, particularly out near that skid pan, standing out there all day in the cold.
Ridiculous. No shelter. Yeah, so, they did well. So, thanks to them.
Yep. I think there's a couple of recoveries, too, that the guys had to do and got them done pretty quickly. So, it was good to see.
Yeah.
All right. So, next on the list, we have... the next item is X Park has a new set of toilet blocks. Can't say I have managed to be up there yet, but I know this is a big thing.
I don't know if he's got them installed yet. I think he only just got them delivered because when he put up the photo of them originally, he hadn't actually received them yet because he had to get someone to drop them off. But I know they're either up there now and being installed or they are installed, but he has got some, which is really nice. It's something that I've had personally a chat with Jimmy a few times about, but he's asked, like, what can I do to, like, get more people to come out to X Park? And I'm like, stop, put tarmac on your track and put stuff around your track. That's what gets people to come up. And it's good to see him follow that. And he's got some toilets and, working on those amenities is what's going to turn that place into somewhere where you can go and you can take the family, take the kids, and they can go into a nice, clean bathroom and, or whatever, actually have some facilities.
Yeah,
right.
I've had this conversation with him too. I think
everybody has, to be honest.
He was speaking to me about toilet blocks probably a year and a half ago, and that's definitely the direction. Like he obviously have aspirations of increasing the track length, and doing other bits and pieces. But for what people use that track for, which is maximum seat time and having fun with mates and things being a bit loose, it's already like pretty close to perfect.
Yeah,
and certainly the infrastructure is the thing that would get more people to go out there. I know if they had more camping amenities, I could find myself being much happier to go up there for a whole weekend, because at the moment generally I'll go up there for one day and then come home, because the idea of having to swag it out there and be a long way from the toilets and all that sort of stuff is a bit harder.
Jimmy didn't have toilets at all, but they were like in where basically his shed and like everything was on the other side of the track from where you do your camping and pitting and all that stuff. So to have something out on the other side is going to be like a real benefit.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it has a shower in it too.
Yeah, so I think from his post it was a 3-shower, 2 toilet that he's going to convert one of the showers into a toilet, so it'll be 3 toilets, 2 showers.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to get up in the morning and have a shower, particularly after a long day of being in a drift car, and you're probably like, some of those days they're like 38-degree days and you're sweating.
The last time I was at X Park, it was 43 degrees. That's when I took the VP up there, and that was That was all I did was drink water all day because that was like I look at like a bloody can of soft drink and I'm like I can't stomach it. It was like you would like when you're that dehydrated. I think I drank like 6 liters of water that day and I was like I still didn't pee. Like it was just like the sweat and everything was gross. But the LS loved it. It was the last car standing in the day, and that's why I sold it.
It was too good for you. You're like, I can't have this. I have to have something like unreliable and broken.
Something like that. So I didn't like the fact I had to clutch kick once the entire day. It was 43 degrees, and all I was doing was going on the throttle because you didn't. The only time I was using the clutch was to stall the car up. I only bogged down once in the entire day, and I'm like, that's not right. I don't like that.
Yeah. Talk about first world problems.
I know. Now I've got a 1G. And I'm averaging 7 clutch kicks a lap.
Already on limiter and it's still getting clutch kicked.
Oh, yeah, tell us about your adventure at Skidpan.
Oh, well, I went to Narnia. So when I went out and like the first lap, I've gone down the back straight. Okay, I need to put it in second, like in third. Like there's not enough second because it's like it's an S15 6-speed, the same 6-speed as an S15, so fifth 1-to-1, and it's got a 4.3 diff in it. So second literally tops out at like 82 k's an hour. So I'll put it in third, and then because it's an S15 6-speed and reverse is up here, there's nothing like underneath it. So I kept going to go back to second and getting nothing. So it was really annoying. So I was just literally just saying in second and sitting on limiter down like 3/4 of the straight and then entering. And then Brody waved me through one of the laps where I was chasing. So I was like, I'll put it into third and I'll go again. So I put it into third and I've clutch kicked it. And I thought I would just skate a little bit and then I'll snap it. And it just kept going that way. And then, went to Narnia. It wasn't that violent. It was just someone got like the perfect picture of it. Like when it was like full arse in the air, boot open, because it doesn't have a boot latch. So like it was literally just zip tied to like the Rio. And so it was just the ideal shot. It was perfect.
There was also, I noticed at Winterfest, there was a big hole at the end of turn 1.
Yeah, I saw the photos
scraping their chassis rails.
I can't remember who shared it, but there was a photo of about 8 or 9 cars all like doing the Mayhan drop without, the Bahuku drop, where they drop the wheel off the edge.
Yeah.
Nishi drop. Yeah, there was like 8 cars doing the Nishi drop, but there was no actual curb there. It was just a hole where everyone would dug a trench.
And it was swallowing like half a wheel in these photos. So I'm surprised no one had wheel breakages or anything like that, because that was, I think one of them was Jamie too, and he was loving it.
Must have been running these speeds. Oh.
All right. Well, I guess we can get on to a couple of non-SA drift-related things now.
Yeah.
But Drift Masters, did you watch much of Drift Masters Finland on the weekend?
I watched a bit, and then I got to about 4 a.m. and I'm like, I'm going to bed because that was when I think it was top 8 or top 4.
Yep.
No, it was top 8 when Jack Shanahan went, I spun out because the track's slippery and there's something on the track. And then I watched him cleaning the track for like 20 minutes trying to see if there was oil there. And I went, I'm done. I need to go to bed. But other than that, it was a sick layout. It looked like super gnarly, which was sick. It reminded me of that early one. It was a few years ago where they had that triple apex left-hander and then did the squiggly bits in the middle. The one where it was like the cars were going so fast and they were so gripped up that most of them ended up understeering halfway through the corner. But it was a wild layout. It's so good seeing like these like more aggressive, like fast to like slow and like aggressive transitions rather than going around an oval.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I watched it at like, it was like 1 o'clock on Saturday night because the kid wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I watched qualifying, I think it was, and it was a very dangerous day to be a rear bumper.
Yeah,
I've got to say.
Yeah,
in between those patchy, wet conditions, most of the cars were going around without rear bumpers, rear taillights, because they were going into that that wall for the first left-hander, and I think it is obviously taken a bit longer for the water that's closer to the wall to dissipate.
You get the same thing at the bend as well. Like the right up against the edge of the track, where all the rubber and everything is sitting, the water just kind of chills there. You get this like really weird, sketchy area right next to the wall that like, if you're like this close to the wall, you're like sweet. If you're this close to the wall, you're in the wall because your car just keeps going.
Well, that's what kept happening, and the number of people riding off the back of their car. It's kind of become normalized to put the rear end of the car into the wall rather than run the wall these days. But it was a cool layout, particularly that last corner where you've got like the pretty steep bank. Looks like it's a pretty sick little track, and also like it's very video game-esque with like the rides and the theme park in the background.
Yeah, did you see the video from Red Bull? The one where Becky goes up the gravitron thing with the slingshot, and like it looks like she's dropped her phone, and then it like transitions into the drone shot of the drone chasing the cars around. It was funny. It was awesome. Sick. Yeah, it's on Red Bull on Instagram.
There's also a video of James Dean after the finish line in one of the battles. Somebody kept sticking their nose after the finish line up on James Dean and ended up spinning James Dean out like pit maneuver style.
You're right.
After the finish line, and you can see the dude that spun him out stopped, and James Dean drives straight up and like just bumps his bumper to bumper together. He obviously was not. You see these Irish hands going like this in the cockpit. You go, he is not happy. So I don't know who ended up winning it because I did not stay up that late.
I fell asleep too. So.
Oh. Yeah, and we
not
also
from lack of excitement. It was because it was 4 a.m.
Was the Indonesian drift stuff that I saw a little bit of too. I think Brett was over there. He looked like he had a bit of trouble with the big old, is it M6 or something like that?
Yeah, some sort of 6 series. I didn't realize it was on until I saw these Instagram posts from Brett going, I'm in Indonesia doing like Indonesian T1 GP. I'm like, yeah, right, eh? And then next thing I know, it's like everyone like Matt living the drift life, like sharing the live stream on Facebook, and like it's all over the shop. But yeah, it was interesting to see. It was very interesting to watch some of the driving. I know Jack shared a video or some stuff. Looks like it was a lot of understeer in the scope.
Someone did make a comment though that it's something like 5% of Indonesian people actually drive though. Like it's some ridiculous. Obviously, there are bikes and whatnot everywhere, like Bali. But you think about it, like that's actually not that that they all can't drive, but it actually makes somewhat sense that they don't have a lot of actual driving experience as such. But
and I don't think they really have like a lot of racetracks and stuff. Like that was a car park
event.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone knows what a car park event can be like with oil and obviously wet, patchy conditions. So it was a struggle for everyone. But funnily enough, there was like in one of the groups, I don't know exactly how it worked. It said like new something, which I think is like new. I thought it was like newer cars, but it must be new drivers, like level 2. And there was like 3 females in a row who all looked like teenagers, and all 3 of them killed it. And then all of a sudden, what I thought,
we found the sim drifters.
Yeah, well, yeah. But then I think the pro came out. I think it was pro. I don't exactly know. And then no one could really string a lap together. So I'm not too sure. But it was good to see someone from Australia go over there and give it a go. And although I don't think he was in the car he was meant to be in, but he gave it a go. So
it's certainly an interesting drift car.
I don't exactly know how any of their scoring works.
7 series or something.
Like I was watching their scoring, and like some dude literally did a lap, missed the clipping point or whatever, and got like a 70. I was like, oh, okay, that must be a good score. And then someone else literally spun out and then just drove off track and got a 40. And I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, I saw some spins and they were like 60s.
Yeah, I'm like,
maybe it's kind of like how we do with our quali battles, where like you get scored like in sections as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like we used to like. I know when I was judging, like we'd do like if someone took off the line and at least like entered, you'd at least give them like a 1 for obviously showing up. But then obviously, it's so hard to give them anything more than that. Obviously, with the way we do qualifying with battle style, it's a lot easier
Yeah.
to, if someone makes a mistake or whatever, as long as they redeem themselves, it's a lot easier to redeem points. But yeah, I had no idea, and I obviously had no idea what anyone was saying, so it was hard to watch, but still different.
Didn't we learn Indonesian at school at some point?
Yep. I wouldn't even know how.
No, we made our
I wouldn't even
Indonesian teacher.
I wouldn't even know how
cry.
to say hello in Indonesian.
It was my one memory of primary school. It was like when I went to like One Tree Hill. I was in year 1 and we had an Italian teacher that taught some stuff, and I made her cry. I don't know how, but I was 6 years old and made the Italian teacher cry.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been learning Italian because you don't learn Italian at bloody year 1. So
No.
she must have been subbing or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but no, it was definitely different to watch.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guessing they're probably developing that series at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see some Aussie drivers taking it to people in different countries.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And you said that. Before Jack, you said that you spoke to Brett about, or someone spoke to Brett saying like he got that drive just by chatting to someone at an event he was at.
I literally said to him, I was like,
it shows that you can just talk to people,
Exactly
be
right.
friendly, and it'll get you places. Like,
no, and like Brett's a good guy.
Don't be a cunt.
Pretty much, yeah. Like Brett's a killer guy. Like he knows he's obviously not the best driver out there. He's always trying to develop his car, and I mean, for ages there, a lot of
He
people
needs to take grip out of his
That's
car.
right. Well, for so long we were like, take some grip out of your car, bro. Like it's not drifting as such. But anyway, so I said to him, I was like, how did it even happen, dude? And he's like, oh, you met the organisers or something last year somewhere, and then just kept talking to him, and then they pretty much said like, hey, like, come over for a drive. Like, there's a car here, come have a steer. And would you say no? Like, absolutely not. Yeah.
I was wondering, watching it, and I was like, "Ooh, is there a way that we could do it?"
Sign me up.
This looks like fun.
I'll be Von Dutchy.
Yeah. I have not heard that brand of the clothing forever either. I didn't even know it was still a thing. I see Von Dutch.
Well,
like, isn't that like work?
Yeah, Von Dutch was probably a thing when drifting first started here too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Maybe. So, nah, good on him. So I don't exactly know how it all worked. And I didn't watch any of Saturday. That was only Sunday that I watched. But if he goes back and gives another go, and
even if he just does it once, like that's still a wicked experience.
Yeah,
like,
100%. Yeah.
Who else can say here? Oh, I got invited to go to Indonesia and drift.
Yeah, exactly right.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, I've got Formula Drift on my list, but I don't really know if there's a lot to talk about there.
Oh.
If anyone's actually watched too much
I
of
have
it.
not watched any of it.
And it's kind of fallen off of it a little bit since Chelsea left. It was kind of like the only reason to watch to see either how he was driving or who was going to yell it in the pits.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless there's any other topics, I think that probably rounds it out. I've got to probably go and take over.
Back to the show. I guess we can have a quick chat about some upcoming stuff. Obviously, round 3 is coming up at Malala sometime in August. I think it's like the 14th.
No, it's like the 20 something, and towards the end of August, I reckon.
Yeah, so Keith Reed's the 29th or 30th, so it'd be like the 22nd.
Yeah, I think it's like 22nd, 23rd.
The weekend before Keep It Real.
Yeah. So that's coming up. I think
24th and 25th.
Yeah, 24th and 25th. So 24th is drift school in the morning, and then
drift practice in the afternoon, and then round 3.
The super drift school too. So it's the drift school, not just on a skid pan.
Yeah, so
there'll be like practices like through the S's. It's the only time you can ever drive southern hairpin backwards. That's pretty much it.
They've got that real tight corner.
Yeah.
So as a separate section. So yeah, lots of it's probably particularly if you're not a full-on beginner, it's probably better to do Malala because you actually got a chance to drift the track rather than just skid panning.
Yeah.
It's probably the bend is probably better for pure beginners because you get a bit more wet skid pan and that sort of thing. So it depends on the event that you're coming out to do and what your skill level is.
Yeah.
We also got another school on the 28th of September, by the looks of things. I think Renee's just put up another post with all the dates for the rest of the year.
Must have been amended again.
Yep.
the bloody Ben kicking us around saying, "Nah, actually, you're gonna go here now."
Yeah. Yeah. All your dates are the same dates as.
All your dates are belong to us.
Yep.
So yeah, no. So we got that, and then yeah, obviously on the 25th is round 3. Mallala comps are always a good time with the layout because it's like 2 corners, so everyone has to go like super balls to the wall to like impress in 2 corners. So it's always good fun to watch. I wish they'd bring back watching from the inside because that was the year I was in Victoria when it was on and I didn't get to experience it. So can we bring that back, please? Tate?
I know it's on Stewie's radar. I don't know where he's got to.
Can I commentate from the inside of turn 1? That would be so much better.
I'll let you talk to Will about about trying to get the mics across there. We haven't had enough time getting the mics to the places that they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
and then obviously the weekend after is Keep It Reet Suri, which I don't know. The last thing I saw is they were selling fast, so I got an entry, and I'm going to go drive a car that hasn't really driven much and see how that goes. Surely it can't be as bad as last time I did that in Victoria.
Winton's good. I did the Vic Drift Matsuri at Winton probably 2 years ago.
Oh.
It's a good time. I slept in a laundry.
Yeah.
Because Stewie was snoring a lot and I couldn't deal with it. And we probably got about 2 hours of sleep each night, but it was good.
Beautiful. That sounds like a perfect drift weekend.
Yep. Pretty much. All right. Well, I'm going to go do some child rearing. And go and see how much trouble I'm in for suddenly ditching wife with child when it's actually my time to be looking after
Oh, yeah. Just remember, we're not actually real.
Yeah, mate. It's all figments of my imagination.
We're just an excuse. I've
had a great chat with myself.
Very good.
How you doing, Tate? I'm good, Tate. Well, I think that's probably a good time to wrap it up then. So thank you for watching, listening, however this comes out anymore. I'm sure Tate will figure that one out.
I'll work it out.
So yeah, make sure you come swing by Mallala 24th and 25th of August. Come out, have a watch. We'll have pro rides and all that stuff like normal. So come out and enjoy yourself out at Mallala Motorsport Park on the 24th and the 25th of August. But until next time we're back, which will be sometime after that, we'll see you then.
Bye.